But age discrimination, have you ever been somewhere, maybe you've gone for a job or struggled to get service at a restaurant or, I don't know, been ignored in a shop? Did you think it was because of your age? As I said, I went into this quite popular sort of salad and sandwich and soup place called Blue Bag on Collins Street in the CBD. It was about midday and I thought I'll get a cup of warm soup because I hadn't had any lunch and it's freezing cold. And I walk in, I get ignored, and they serve another customer who's behind me, and that bloke points to me and says, oh, he was first. Okay. The young lady comes over to me. I said, what flavour soup do you have? She points at a sign. There's 3 there. I say, well, I'll have the, it was, I think, lamb or something. And I turn around and she's serving someone else. So I try and get the attention of one of the others, and all these other people arrive at the shop, and they serve those people and ignore me. I wanted to spend some money in their shop, but I was ignored. And I think I was ignored because I looked around. I was easily the oldest customer in there. The staff were all in their early to mid-20s. Most of the patrons were 20s, maybe 30s. And I was the standout bloke in his mid-50s. And they didn't want to know me. And I think it's age discrimination, I really do. But I would have thought my money is as good as anybody else's. And there's a fair chance that someone in their 50s has a bit more money to spend than someone in their early 20s. Anyway, our next guest is the Chief Advocate for National Seniors Australia, Ian Henschke. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom, and my heart goes out to you because I think you've just experienced what a lot of people have experienced, because there was a survey done recently that said 38% of people between 50 and 59, where you fell in there, had been ignored or made to feel invisible, compared to 19% of those in their 80s. So you're experiencing more ageism at your age than you would if you're an 80-year-old.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm only 55, but I still think of myself as young, even though the mirror suggests otherwise. But I mean, I don't get this because I was quite clearly there, and I'm not, I'm fairly tall. I'm 6'2" and whatever. It wasn't like they didn't see me. They did, but they made a conscious effort to serve other younger people and ignore me, even though I was at the head of the queue. I'll never go back there.
I know. Look, and this is happening a lot to people, particularly you hear it from women who say they go into stores and they say that they feel as if they're invisible. So what you've experienced is actually discrimination, and it's extraordinary. You know how you said the man was standing behind you and he said he was here before me? The only time I've seen that in action was in the South in America, where I went into a record shop when I was there as a young person, and there was an African-American behind me. He was in front of me, and I got served in front of him, and the record owner was deliberately choosing me over the other person. I was trying to say, excuse me, and the guy kept saying, no, it's okay, it's okay. So this what you experienced is the sort of thing that it happens to people because of their skin colour, because of their nationality or whatever, and I think it's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing for you to talk about, Tom.
Well, but what I find
we should fix it.
We should. But what I understand is, businesses in the city are struggling for customers. So many people work from home, and foot traffic is well down on what it was back in 2019. Surely my money is as good as anybody else's. I would have thought they'd be going out of their way to provide the best service to every customer possible.
Well, there's another survey that was released just recently, and it was by the Age Discrimination Commissioner. She's just finished her term. She did a wonderful job, Kay Patterson.
Yes, I know Kay.
Wonderful person, and did great service to the country. And she said that what we need to do, now this is incredible, but she's saying we need to have awareness training. You've actually got to take those young people as part of their staff training when they're going for that job. They should be told that every customer is valued. It doesn't matter whether they're from what country they're from, what age they are, or whatever. You actually have to tell them. She's actually saying we need to train people against ageism in the same way as we have to train people to do all sorts of things in customer service. And she said if you do that, you do get a better result. So I think probably the best thing to do, Tom, is to contact the management of that place. Tell them that you won't go back there, but tell them about your experience so they can train the staff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, should I bother? I mean, I can't see why I would bother, but I don't know them a favour, but maybe tell them because I just feel aggrieved about it.
So it doesn't happen to the next person the next day, Tom. I mean, I think what you're doing, and look, National Seniors has discovered this not just on a thing like that where it's annoying, but when we did the Aged Care Royal Commission, we put submissions in there, and the sort of things that were happening to people in aged care, the ultimate finding by the Royal Commissioner was at the heart of all the problems with aged care was ageism. That's what the Royal Commissioners came out with. So we have to actually do this. This is not about just waiting longer for a cup of coffee. This is about when you go into aged care. If you're treated poorly because of your age or ignored, I mean, in some cases, they put a tray of food down in front of someone and it might be too far away from them, and then they walk away. Because they're not, so this is actually a really big issue, Tom, and I think you should actually contact the management of that store and say, look, I talked about it on the radio, I mentioned your store name, you need to do some training.
All right, I think I will. Thank you, Ian. Ian Henschke there, Chief Advocate for National Seniors Australia. All right, we'll go to calls in a moment, 133 693. I mean, look, I walked a few hundred metres down the road, found another similar place and bought some soup from them, and they seemed quite pleased to take my money, and their soup was quite nice. So I won't be going back to Blue Bag other than to inform them of what's gone on. But I suspect this is widespread. I do. Anyway, 133 693, drive at 3AW.com.au at 19 past 4.